I'm going to talk about failing, fellas. Nobody likes to fail. If you like to fail, there's something wrong, right? Or on the flip side, if you like to fail, there's something right. Which one is it? Nobody really likes to fail deep down. I mean, like if you ask, it's like, huh, bro, I hate failing, which is why we're so driven to succeed. But there's something that champions do. Great players, great businessmen, just great individuals actually find a sense of purpose in failure. They actually are okay with failing or putting themselves in a position to fail. Why? It's because they're challenging themselves. Because if you never challenged yourself and you just did the same thing every day that you knew you were good at or you knew you were going to find success in, would you ever fail? No. But would you ever really get better? Not really, right? Because you're in this world of comfort all the time. So the reality is, failure is very important when you're trying to do anything at a high level. The challenge is to overcome that failure, know it's there for a purpose, know it's there for a reason, and turn that failure into fuel for you to continue to pursue excellence. So there's a few things I want to read you guys. One is a quote from Phil Knight. You might know who Phil Knight is. He's the founder of Nike. Founder of Nike, Phil Knight said, "The trouble is not that we are making too many mistakes, but that we are making too few." So he's a guy that wants to push the envelope, right? He's a guy that wants to do something totally different from everybody else in his sector, right? He's trying to beat Adidas. He's trying to beat Reebok. He's trying to totally reinvent how an athletic brand or a shoe company is going about their business. And in order to do that and set himself apart, he knew that he had to be willing to push the envelope. And when doing that, he was going to make mistakes. But instead of being scared to make those mistakes, he actually embraced them and was like, man, there's a problem if we're not making enough mistakes because that just means we're not trying hard enough. Champions celebrate failures and successes. Successes prove that we are improving in our craft, while failures show we are adequately challenging ourselves. So I'm going to read that one more time. Champions celebrate failures and successes because our successes that they prove that we're improving in our craft. They show that we're actually getting better, right? We're having some success. We're starting to want that at bat when it really matters. When the bases are juiced and there's two outs, put me in the dish. I'm going to succeed. And I'm starting to hone that craft. Put me on the mound in that tight spot, right? And I'm going to have some success because I'm actually getting better at my craft relative to my peers. But at the same time, failures show that we're adequately challenging ourselves. Because if we're not failing, again, we're not really trying hard enough. Proverbs 24:16 in the Bible says, "A righteous man may fall 7 times, but he gets up again. However, in a disaster, the wicked will stumble." So, in a nutshell, you guys who are trying to do the right thing, who are here putting time into your personal development, who are showing up to do extra work or really locked in the school in your schoolwork or at practice, you're trying to do the right thing. If you fall, that's okay. You're going to get up again. Your heart's in the right place. You're working for a goal. You're working for a purpose. You're a righteous man trying to do the right thing. But on the flip side, some of your peers, they're so scared of failure because they know that failure is going to be nearly impossible for them to overcome or to get up from because they know deep down they're not putting in that work. They're not doing the things that they should be doing to get to where they say they want to go. And so they're so scared of failure because they feel like it's going to be the death of them. They feel like there's no chance for them to overcome that. Y'all with me on that? So without going too far on a tangent, I want to give you one more quote. I want to read from this book. It's called 177 Mental Toughness Secrets of the World Class. And then I want to have a quick discussion about it because I know you guys are dealing with this every day. I'm dealing with it every day. Your parents are dealing with it every day. So I want to start to destigmatize or not make you guys feel like you can't talk about failures. Those are things that we need to discuss. Those are things that we need to actually be proud of, right? Be fired up to say, hey, I failed at something today. But you know what? I was trying. I tried something new and I ate it, dude. I hit my face so hard and I looked so stupid doing it. But I learned something and I got better because I'm pursuing something that's so much greater than the status quo. I just want to read this to you real quick and we'll discuss. While amateurs avoid risk at any cost, the great ones are always looking for opportunities. They're willing to fail their way to success. The belief of the champion, according to the late thought leader Larry Wilson, is, quote, I cannot fail. I can only learn and grow. This belief makes pros very dangerous performers. While average people attempt to win while simultaneously trying to avoid pain, champions give it the full court press with little concern about failing. Champions have programmed themselves to disengage their fear and move forward. The middle and lower class are amateurs at failing and are so afraid of it that they only attempt goals they know they can reach. The feelings of bliss that champions experience don't stem from their successes, but from the fulfillment of the growth that occurred along the way. So I know that's a little wordy and it's kind of a lot, but ultimately, you want to be great, you want to be a champion, you want to do something that's so much better than what most people dream of, you have to be willing to fail and you have to embrace that failure and not only just be like, oh yeah, I failed and I know it's going to be okay, but actually like use it as fuel. Like let it fire you up and be like, well, I'm gonna get it next time. You know, I looked bad right there. I failed miserably. I struck out and looked stupid. But boy, give me that chance again. I'm coming to get it. Y'all with me on that? So take just a quick moment, and if you're willing, share with me something that you failed at recently. Something that you're like, dude, I didn't look so hot doing that. Whether it's a test in school or maybe something at baseball, what's something that you failed at recently that we can in a quick moment reframe and turn into a positive for you?
I got a 79 on a test, that I should have like aced.
Yeah. Was that because you didn't study and because you didn't do what you were called to do, or because it's a challenging class and it's just something that you're having a hard time with right now?
It's a challenging class that I had a hard time with, and I told everyone that I'm gonna ace it, and I studied, and I ended up getting a 79. So
So you're pushing yourself, you're trying, right? You're trying. It just ended up being challenging.
yeah,
There's a big difference there. One is what I asked, right? Like, hey, did you just neglect something? And if that's the case, you got to take ownership in that and be like, yo, I failed because I messed up, because I shouldn't have failed at that. But if you're actually challenging yourself to be better than the status quo, if you're like, hey, dude, I'm tired of making B's, I'm gonna push the envelope here. I'm gonna study harder. I'm gonna get after it and work to get that A. And then you fail. It's okay. Now you're learning something from it. You're still growing, right?
mm.
That's good. Thanks for being vulnerable there. Appreciate that. What about you, Aaron? Anything?
I'd say like in practice off the machine, like over and over again. I mean, for me personally, it's embarrassing. Like rolling over, top spinning the ball over and over again. Like just trying to, and I can't like figure the feeling out. Like sometimes, like for me personally, that would be like something that like I would consider a failure. But
Fact.
yeah, and then just trying to come out the next day, like maybe think it over at night, see what I could do differently, and just try something completely different the next day.
I
See
love
how it
that.
works.
Yeah. Bro, that's so true. That's such a good analogy because that machine will make you look terrible. When you crank that thing up, especially them hack attacks, bro. Your brother and I used to call them MVPs. Like, this dude's just nasty, right? That's the MVP, bro. But the reality is, you crank it up high and you make it harder than the game so that you do fail and you actually get better at that craft. right? So then you get into the game and the game seems way easier because you've been failing off that hard machine. That's beautiful, man. That's good. What about you, John? Anything?
No, nothing
All
right
right.
now.
And if you ain't failing, big dog, you got to try harder, right? I know you're working hard. I know you're working hard, but we're so comfortable with being comfortable, right? If we can get comfortable with being uncomfortable and get comfortable with pushing ourselves to the point of failure, that's where elite growth begins to take place, right? And I know y'all are working on that. I see you, Johnny. I know you're working on that. You're putting yourself in some harder situations right now, but you're also riding a little high right now where you got a little taste of success, and that feels good too. So just stay the course, but don't be afraid to take that one step backwards, i.e., don't be afraid to fail in the moment, because what it's going to do is propel you 2 steps forward, right? But if you take that one step forward, which is where you're at right now, John, and you're like, man, this feels good, this feels way better than failing in the short term, then what happens is you start to plateau. And then all of a sudden, these guys who are willing to take one step back, i.e., fail, they're going to leapfrog you. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And you're going to ride this wave of status quo and not really get to where you want to go. What about you down there, Kellen? I see you.
I kind of failed pretty badly at lacrosse practice. Like, I missed the catch to scoring a goal in a scrimmage, and it kind of wasn't really too good.
But check this, bro. You're playing lacrosse for the first time.
Yes, sir.
You're challenging yourself right now, are you not? This is a
Yes,
new
sir.
sport, a whole new craft. You're learning, you're growing, and you're failing, but that's because you're learning and you're getting better. So, fellas, use the failures of the day to fuel your successes. Turn that failure into fuel and let it fire you up. I'll leave you with this. Derek Jeter said, if he's a career 300 hitter, right? You want to be a career 300 hitter. That means you succeed 3 out of 10 times. So, Aaron, let me ask you this. If you go 0 for 7, are you feeling pretty bad about yourself?
To be honest, I learned not really because I have a lot more at bats on the way. So
It's like you got a brother that's just locked in and can feed you all this good information.
yeah.
But the reality is most guys are like hitting the panic button when they go 0 for 7. They're like, oh my gosh, I ain't got a hit in 2 or 3 games. But if you're a career 300 hitter, that means the law of averages says you're going to get 3 hits in 10 at bats. Mm-hmm. So Derek Jeter says that if he was 0 for 7, that means that the numbers say he's about to go 3 for 3. You know what I mean? He takes that failure, that 0 for 7 failure, and uses it with a little bit of logic to fuel his perception and give him the energy and the confidence to go out knowing that, hey, dude, historically, I'm going to go 3 for 3 right here. I'm going to get 3 knocks today because I just went 0 for 7. And that's such an amazing way to attack every single day. And it's something that is going to propel you guys not only in baseball or the classroom, but for the rest of your life, if you're willing to go out there and fail and use that failure not as something that beats you down and makes you scared, but something that fuels you to go on and do amazing, great things in this world. All right. I love you guys so much. Y'all have a great night. Keep working hard on the day-to-day. Keep coming in on Mondays. Bring some friends in, fellas. Bring some friends. Try to hype your boys up. Tell them to come on. If you're getting just a little nugget out of this, I know I'm throwing a lot at you, but it's all about just taking one thing away, right? You ain't got to take it all. Just take one thing away and then implement that one thing into your life. And what's going to happen week after week after week is that's going to start to compound. And you're going to start to dominate your peers because you're adding one little positive nugget to your life every single week that these other guys aren't doing. So you got some buddies you care about, bring them on. Let them know what's up. Sound good?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Y'all have a great night. I love you guys so much.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Talk soon.